At the heart of every business, from a local bakery to a multinational car company, lies a fundamental process: transformation. Inputs like raw materials, labor, and machinery go in one end, and finished goods or services come out the other. For many, this process is a black box, but for a successful manager, it cannot be. The ability to control costs, drive efficiency, and plan for growth hinges on understanding exactly what happens inside that box. This is the domain of the production function, the blueprint for operational excellence and competitive advantage. A production function is a formal, technical expression of the relationship between the quantity of inputs used and the maximum quantity of output that can be produced, given the current state of technology. It's a purely physical relationship. It doesn't deal with prices or costs, only with physical units. It defines the boundary of what is technically possible. This leads to a crucial managerial distinction. Technical efficiency means you are achieving the maximum possible output from a given set of inputs. You are on the production function boundary, not inside it. Economic efficiency, however, goes a step further. It means producing a given level of output at the lowest possible cost. A manager's ultimate goal is to achieve both. The core inputs, or factors of production, are traditionally classified as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. For modeling purposes, we often simplify this into a function of the two most critical inputs a manager can adjust: labor, L, and capital, K. In economics, the short run is a period where at least one input is fixed. Typically, a firm's capital, its factory and machinery, is fixed. To increase output, a manager can only adjust variable inputs, like hiring more workers. The behavior of production in the short run is governed by the law of variable proportions, also known as the law of diminishing marginal returns. This law unfolds in three distinct stages. Stage 1: increasing marginal returns. As you add the first few workers to the assembly line, output increases more than proportionally. Workers can specialize, and the fixed capital is used more effectively. The marginal product of each new worker is rising. While this seems good, a manager knows they are underutilizing their expensive fixed capital. Stage 2: diminishing marginal returns. After a certain point, while total output still rises, it does so at a decreasing rate. The assembly line starts to get crowded. Each new worker adds less to total output than the worker before them. Their marginal product is positive but falling. This is the rational zone of production for any manager. Stage 3: negative marginal returns. Eventually, you add so many workers that they get in each other's way, causing chaos and disruption. Adding one more worker actually reduces total output. Their marginal product is negative. You are not only paying for an unproductive worker, but that worker is also making your entire operation less productive. No rational manager would ever operate in this stage. The long run is a time frame where all inputs are variable. You can not only hire more workers, but you can also build a bigger factory, buy new machinery, or change your core technology. The long run is about scaling your entire operation. This is governed by returns to scale, RTS. If you double all your inputs and your output more than doubles, you have increasing returns to scale, IRS. This is due to economies of scale, greater specialization, and network effects. If you double your inputs and your output exactly doubles, you have constant returns to scale, CRS. This implies your production process is perfectly replicable. This is the foundation of successful franchising models. And if you double your inputs and your output increases by less than double, you have decreasing returns to scale, DRS. This often happens in very large organizations due to communication bottlenecks, bureaucracy, and coordination challenges. To model these relationships mathematically, economists often use the Cobb-Douglas Production Function. While it looks complex, it's incredibly powerful for a manager. Here, Q is output, L is labor, and K is capital. The magic is in the other terms. A represents total factor productivity. It's your technology, your efficiency, your secret sauce. Alpha, and beta are the output elasticities of labor and capital, respectively. They tell you the percentage increase in output you get from a 1% increase in that input. Crucially, the sum of alpha and beta tells you your returns to scale. If alpha plus beta is greater than 1, you have increasing returns. If it equals 1, you have constant returns. And if it's less than 1, you have decreasing returns. So how does a manager use this to make decisions? The key is finding the most cost-effective way to produce. We use two graphical tools, Isoquants and Isocosts. An isoquant is a curve that shows all the possible combinations of labor and capital that can produce the same level of output. An isocost line shows all the combinations of labor and capital that can be purchased for the same total cost. Its slope is determined by the ratio of the prices of labor and capital. A manager's goal is to produce a target quantity at the lowest possible cost. This occurs at the point where the isoquant curve is just tangent to the lowest possible isocost line. At this tangency point, the MRTS is exactly equal to the ratio of the input prices. This gives you the least cost combination of labor and capital. The ability to substitute labor for capital isn't always possible. Some production processes require fixed proportions. This is described by the Leontief production function. Think of a delivery fleet. One driver is needed per truck. Having more drivers than trucks or more trucks than drivers doesn't increase output. The inputs must be used in a fixed 1-to-1 ratio. A manager must recognize when their process has fixed proportions versus variable proportions. If proportions are fixed, the focus isn't on substitution, but on ensuring there are no bottlenecks. Like any model, the production function has limitations. Critics point to the problem of aggregation. Lumping all types of machines and buildings into capital and all types of workers into labor is an oversimplification. Furthermore, treating technology A as just a number ignores the fact that innovation is a deliberate, strategic process, not just something that happens. A smart manager understands these caveats. They don't use the production function for the entire company, but apply it at a more granular level, for a specific plant, a single production line, or a particular department. Let's conclude with a case study. An automaker wants to expand. First, they analyze their short-run production function and find they are in stage 2, but nearing the limits of their current factory. For the long run, they estimate their Cobb-Douglas function and discover they have increasing returns to scale. This signals that a larger factory would be more efficient. They use Isoquant Isocost analysis to determine the optimal mix of new robotics, capital, and skilled technicians, labor, for the new plant, based on current wages and the cost of automation. They recognize that some parts of their assembly line have fixed proportions and plan accordingly to avoid bottlenecks. The production function is more than an academic theory. It is a powerful managerial tool. It allows you to diagnose inefficiency, plan for growth, optimize your resource allocation, and make strategic investment decisions with confidence. It turns the black box of production into a clear, manageable system, giving you control over the very engine of your business.